Welcome, friends. Today we are going to discuss methods of analysis of complexes. Now, these complexes are analyzed based on two things. One is stoichiometric ratio of the ligand to metal or donor to acceptor, and determine the qualitative expression for stability constant for the complex formation. Then methods of analysis of complexes. First, method of continuous variation. This method is also known as Jobs method. Then distribution method, solubility method, and fourth one is pH titration method. Now we'll see one by one. First of all, we'll discuss general procedure to analyze this complex. Now this is equation for the complexation. M is nothing but your metal ion. Then Na is your composition of ligand and it form final complex, that is MAN. Then stability constant of these complex will be K is equal to MAN is your product. Okay, product divided by your reactant. So M and A are reactant here, and MAN is nothing but product of this reaction. So stability constant is nothing but ratio of product to reactant. When you apply log for this both side, your equation will become log MAN is equal to log K. Okay, then this whole term will become, or it you can multiply this term with K when you rearrange this equation. So after that you have to take a log of this equation, then your equation will become log of MAN is equal to log of K plus. Why it is plus? Because this whole term is required to multiply with K. So here you have to take plus sign, then log of M plus N log of A. Okay, this is your final equation. When you plot this log A versus log MAN, then you will get this type of graph. Then y-intercept of your graph will represent stability constant value of your complex, while slope of this graph will give you stoichiometric ratio. This ratio is nothing but ligand to metal or donor to acceptor ratio, and the y-intercept will give you stability constant of that complex formation. Okay, this is general procedure. Now we'll discuss method of continuous variation. This is also known as Jobs method. Okay, physical properties like dielectric constant, then refractive index, spectrophotometric, extinction coefficients. Okay, these are the physiochemical properties, and they are a characteristic of particular species. Now in this method, stoichiometric ratio of complex is based on measuring into the change of this property, like dielectric constant, refractive index, then spectrophotometric extinction coefficient, and this will uh, changed depend upon the stoichiometric ratio. Now this method is based on assumption that maximum change in the highest concentration of maximum change of this in the property will happen when stoichiometric ratio in the solution will contain highest concentration of complex. Means more, if more complexation is there, more will be your stoichiometric ratio and more will be changed into the physiochemical properties. Now in this method, total molar concentration of this metal ion and ligand you have to keep constant, and mole fraction of this uh, but their mole fraction is required to vary. Okay, A plus B will give you, one is your uh, drug and second will be your complexing agent. If complexation is there, there might be two conditions: one, no complexation, and second, complexation. If no complexation is there, physiochemical properties are additive values. Okay, means we'll get just addition of this physiochemical property if no complexation is there. But if complexation is there, physical properties or value of this physical properties will be different. Okay, it will be never additive value, either it is more than this additive value or less than this additive value. So we can say that complexation is there. Now if you take example of this dielectric constant, this is a mole fraction of these two substances, and you are continuously increase mole fraction of your B. Okay, then what happen when you take these two substances into the ratio of 1:1? Okay, this is your exact ratio of these two substances. Then this ratio will give you a value of the dielectric constant is nothing but your additive value. Due to the complexation, physical property may result maximum or minimum. Okay, if there is no complexation, then graph will be like this dotted line. Okay, if variation is there, okay, in this graph maximum value of dielectric constant is there, so we can see that complexation is there. Then at a maximum or a minimum point, note a concentration of individual species and is calculate stoichiometric ratio of the species. So how much it is increased and how much it is decreased, depending on that we can say that this is the stoichiometric ratio of that particular pair of compound. Mm. Second method is distribution method. In this distribution method, uh, it's similar as that of your partition coefficient determination. Change in the distribution is because of complexation. By conducting two experiments, stability constant is estimated. How it is so? Iodine plus carbon tetrachloride plus potassium iodide. Then you have to check it, you have to titrate it with the sodium thiosulfate by using starch as a indicator. Now second experiment, iodine plus carbon tetrachloride plus water, means instead of potassium iodide you have to take a water here. Then you have to check it, you have to separate aqueous layer, you have to separate organic layer and titrate this both layer with separate different strength of your sodium thiosulfate. In case of organic layer you can use zero point 0.1 normal sodium thiosulfate, and in case of aqueous layer you can use 0.01 normal sodium thiosulfate, and in both cases you can use iodine starch as an indicator. And concentration of iodine in aqueous and organic phase you can determine, means how much it is distributed into the aqueous layer and how much it is distributed into the organic layer, so that can be calculated. So stability constant K is equal to K plus I3 minus divided by I2 into K plus I minus. So by using this method, you can determine how much complexation is there. Okay. uh, Iodine is distributed between this immiscible layer of water and carbon tetrachloride, and after analysis uh, of these two solvent, you can determine how much iodine is distributed in these two solvents, and this distribution can express only concentration of free ion. There is no complex formation. Means when you conduct these two experiment, uh, in this first experiment you have used this potassium iodide, and this potassium iodide form a bond with this iodine, so ultimately less free iodine is there, and that will be detected by titration method. But here there is a no binding agent of this for the iodine, so there is a no complexation, only distribution of iodine is there into the aqueous layer and organic layer, and by titrating you will come to know that how much free iodine is there. Okay, and when you use this potassium iodide, then you will come to know that uh, what exactly the stability constant of this potassium iodide and iodine complex. Then third method, that is solubility method. This is most widely used method into the inclusion complexes because it is having a very good phase uh, solubility method. When mixture form a complex solubility may increases or decreases. Okay, means that complex will be uh, formed that will have a more solubility than individual drug or less solubility than individual drug before complexation. Then experiments are conducted to estimate the parameters. Now, which experiment here conducted? Caffeine, which acts as a complexing agent, taken into the different concentration. Then PABA is added into this caffeine, which is present into the different concentration into the different container. Then you have to agitate it, filter it, and analyze your drug content. Then you will come to know that how much PABA plus caffeine complex is formed. You have to determine stability constant of this PABA caffeine complex. Now how can you determine? You are increasing concentration of complexing agent in aqueous vehicle and are taken in a well stopped container. An excess quantity of drug in this added of each container, then placed in a constant temperature bath and agitated till equilibrium is attained. Now, after attaining this equilibrium, the aliquot portion of this supernatant you have to remove and analyze for the drug concentration. Then, solubility of drug we have to plot against the molar concentration of your complexing agent. Okay, here I have plotted the graph molar concentration of your PABA versus molar concentration of your caffeine. Then if you observe this diagram, initially process of complexation is increases up to this saturation point, and after saturation it will give you a constant molar concentration. Okay, then Then after saturation point, um, solubility will be constant for this complex. Okay, initially it form an insoluble complex, so graph is in increasing order. Then the final complex is having a constant solubility. Then after addition of certain concentration of caffeine, excess of solid acid convert into the complex. Okay, from here there is a formation of higher complex, and that higher complex is having a ability um, to decrease solubility into this solution. So initially it form a soluble complex, so it is increases. Then it after saturation point it will give you constant solubility, and after formation of higher complexes solubility of drug will be less. The solubility of drug increases because of the formation of this complex. Then both drug and your complexing agent saturated, and so after saturation you will get a constant value of solubility. Then after addition of this excess complexing agent, a formation of secondary complex is there, is nothing but higher complex, and that's why this stoichiometric interaction that's why there is a less solubility, and this stoichiometric interaction can be determined from phase solubility diagram. So this diagram is phase solubility diagram, and with this help of diagram we can determine interaction of your drug and complexing agent. Then fourth method, that is pH titration method. In this pH titration method, metal complexes depend on to great extent on pH of the solution, and there is a competition between metal ion and proton for ligand, and as they both are having ability to bind with this complexing agent or formation of complex, and the same this in this pH titration method, complexation produces change into the pH. Now we'll see experiment. Glycine solution 75 ml, you have to titrate with the help of NaOH, then pH is recorded. Then glycine solution 75 ml plus cupric ion complex. This cupric ion form a complex with glycine. Again you have to titrate it with this NaOH, and pH is recorded. Complexation releases proton and pH decreases. So quantity of alkali concentration of ligand bound will be like that. So this is your graph for ml of your NaOH required to neutralize this glycine, and you have to plot a graph pH versus ml of NaOH. So what you have to do first? First of all, you have to titrate your glycine with sodium hydroxide, and this curve you have to consider as a standard curve, okay, or a reference curve. Then your glycine is form a complex with cupric ion. That complex will be this complex, okay, when you add your cupric into the cupric ion into this glycine. Then what happen? Titration curve is obtained by adding this sodium hydroxide to the solution of glycine and copper salt, okay, and this titration curve of the complex is too much below than the standard glycine graph. Why? Because there is a formation of complex between your copper and glycine, and after formation of complex, a quantity of alkali required to neutralize that H plus will be vary, okay, as compared to the glycine. Then this horizontal distance, okay, this horizontal distance between titration curve of glycine and titration curve of this copper glycine indicates the amount of sodium hydroxide used for neutralization, and this concentration of sodium hydroxide is equal to concentration of ligand bound to at any value of your pH. Then concentration of ligand bound divided by total concentration of metal ion will gives us a value of N, and this N value at a various pH you can determine, and by this N value is nothing but your stoichiometric ratio of that particular complex. Okay, this is all about different methods of determination of complexes. Thank you.